As someone who just went through the process of getting Mexican residency, I learned that if you take it one step at a time, it does not have to be scary. So if you want to make 2025 the year that you get your residency, just follow these 5 easy steps to make it happen.
Yeah, so we're going to be walking you through each step of the process, letting you know what to expect, and also give you some very useful tips that are going to increase your chances of getting approved. Let's get started.
Step 1, understand your path to residency. So for this video, we're going to be talking about getting your residency through something that's called financial solvency, and this is the most common way for foreigners to be granted residency. And basically what financial solvency is that you make your case for residency by showing that you have enough financial assets basically to cover your lifestyle here in Mexico. And the 2 ways to do that is either through your savings and investments or through your income. And then there are 2 different types of residencies. You have your temporary residency and your permanent residency. The temporary residency visa has lower financial requirements and is typically for people below a loosely defined retirement age. And the opposite of that is the permanent visa, which has higher financial requirements, and typically you have to prove that you are in fact retired to get that visa. One is not necessarily better than the other, it just depends on your particular profile. So based on your finances and your age, your path to residency will either be through the temporary visa or the permanent visa. So for myself, I am 39 years old and I applied for the temporary visa also because we're still working and I can't otherwise prove retirement status, so temporary visa was my route. But it's not exactly that straightforward, so the next step will cover whether or not you will actually be eligible for residency.
Step 2, research. So in this step, you're going to research where you plan to apply for residency, and you have to make sure that you're actually eligible. If you don't already know this, the first official appointment is going to happen at a Mexican consulate in the US, so your research is going to start there. And there are over 50 consulates all over the country, so there's a pretty decent chance that the bigger city near you is going to have an office. I'm going to put a link right here, and it's also going to be in the description, and there you can check, there's a list of all the offices so you can see which one is closer to you. And if you want to do this manually, you can also just jump on Google and put Mexican consulate plus the city name, and the first option that pops there should be the right option. Just make sure that the link contains these letters that I'm going to put right here, because that way you ensure that it's the official website from the Mexican government. Once you find your local consulate's website, you are going to find their visa page, and I'm going to walk you through how to find this on your own. So once you go to their visa page, you're going to see the exact financial requirements required by that specific consulate, because surprise, they're going to be different all over, so we can't give you exactly how that looks like for all of them. So what you want to do is to look for a link that says Servicio para extranjeros or services for foreigners, and some websites they won't translate, so that's why I'm giving you both names. Each consulate site is not going to be identical, but in this case you can just click English. So in the case of Las Vegas, you're going to see 2 important pieces of information right here. One, that they require you to email them to make an appointment. This also varies per consulate. And number 2, you have the links to the requirements for different visas. Click on whichever route you plan to go and look for the financial requirements right there. Hopefully you're going to be eligible to apply to the consulate that's closest to you, but if you're not, do not worry, because we did make a video that covers all of that information. It's just a lot. Tell them. Yeah,
so this is a more detailed video about finding the best consulate for you. So as I might have mentioned, the financial requirements vary quite a bit by consulate. So if you don't quite meet what's required in the consulate nearest you can kind of shop around, and this is what this video teaches you, because there are a lot of consulates that accept out-of-area applications and have much lower thresholds. So you can still get approved even though you don't meet the requirements at the consulate closest to you. And just a final tip as well, not all consulates websites will show you the exact financial requirements as easy as Las Vegas, where you can just go into a document and see the information. If that's the case for your consulate, just try emailing them. You can also try calling them if email doesn't work, and a last resort, if it is kind of a smaller consulate, you can just pop in and ask them. It also works.
Remember that I'm going to link that video here for the consulates if you need to go consulate shopping, and that link is also going to be in the description, along with other relevant links to a lot of things that we're mentioning in this video.
If all of this is starting to feel a little bit overwhelming, don't worry. We created a free step-by-step kind of roadmap to getting your Mexican residency. It's a free checklist and it has so much great information that we're including in this video, but also additional tips and other things to watch out for that will just make it such a more smooth and stress-free process.
Yeah, it's basically like what we wish we had when we went through all of this. So we put it together in a really nice document that you can download in the description. It's also going to be there. And we promise that if you take this process just step by step, it's going to be so much easier. So at the moment, if you don't have your Mexican residency, the focus is to get the appointment. You know, like it's all one by one. Don't look at like the whole thing because it can be overwhelming if you look at it that way. But hopefully the cheat sheet or the roadmap or whatever you want to call it, like it's going to help you make the whole process like a lot easier and stress-free. Knowing what's coming your way, it's the thing that's going to help you stay organized and on track. So here's a basic summary of the official events that are going to take place once you know you're eligible for residency. Number 1, apply for your appointment. Just keep in mind that appointments could be granted within a week or take several months depending on how busy the consulate is. Number 2, attend your appointment at a Mexican consulate in the US. If approved, most consulates are going to provide a visa stamp the same day. Number 3, visit Mexico within 180 days of getting approved for residency in the US to finalize your visa process. This process is called canje, so really do make sure that you are available to go to Mexico within 180 days after you get approved in the US.
But don't just jump and make your appointment just yet. Know that a lot of the consulates require that you have wet signatures or official bank stamps on the documents that you're using to prove financial solvency. And even more than that, they require that the names on your financial documents or any kind of income statements are exactly the same as on your passport. So for example, if your passport says Robert Smith, but your investment account has Bob Smith Jr. or something, a lot of the consulates will push back on that and that will kind of impede the whole process. So what you want to do before making the appointment is start to take the steps to kind of correct any discrepancies, I would say, with your passport name and any names on financial statements. Otherwise, it'll just cause some trouble in the future.
And that takes a little bit of time too, right? Like for you, it took like 3 weeks or something to...
Yeah, it could take like the next statement cycle. So like up to 4 weeks, for example. So make sure you get that done beforehand. And once you do have that all figured out, you can go ahead and make your appointments. Time for step 4. Go to your appointment at a Mexican consulate in the US. So when you get your appointment, you'll get a date that you have to visit the Mexican consulate and also the exact requirements that you need to bring to prove financial solvency. So the exact instructions could really vary quite a bit by consulate, and also the level to which they enforce certain requirements like having bank stamps or wet signatures on your statements or proof of income also varies by consulate. But our best advice to you is just do your very best to have everything how they just basically ask for it. It can really help just smooth out the process. And during the interview, you're gonna present your proof of financial solvency to them, and you're also gonna have a short interview. During the interview, they're going to ask, why do you want to move to Mexico? I love tacos is not a good enough reason, like really have a legit reason. And this is kind of how it went for me down in Miami. I have a face of uncertainty. So I just had the interview with the Mexican consulates. And they had a lot of questions. They're like, why do you want to go to Mexico if you can go there for 6 months and just like go back and forth? Which is a great question. But I think I had a decent answer, just that we really like it there and that we're able to work from there. We have some family. So she said, okay, sounds good. Come back at 3 o'clock and you'll find out whether or not you got approved. More or less. I mean, it took like 4 minutes of my explanation of like what we're doing and why we want to stay. And I mentioned that we have the YouTube channel, the business, and I don't know. It was very,
so we don't know
very
yet?
fast.
You literally don't know.
I literally don't know. But she said, if you come here at 3 o'clock, everything will be ready if it was approved. Which is like, why would I have to come back if it's not there? So.
Oh, so they have your passport?
They have my passport, yeah.
Oh, I think that's good.
I think it's good news, but at the same time, it's like, why don't you just tell me that the news is good? So if all goes well, you'll be granted something like a visa permit on the same day, and it's basically a sticker in your passport. It looks like this.
It was very exciting.
It's a very happy moment.
Yeah.
Soy Mexicano, way. They gave it to me. It took a little bit of time, a little bit of nerves the last couple hours, but it all went well. I walked in there, saw the colorful visa with my photo on it. Oh yeah, it's all gonna be okay. So this is exciting. Now we have to go to Mexico soon and get it all finalized, but this was like the big first step. And hopefully if you're like us, you'll get to celebrate after that moment, but note that the process is not done. This is not your final visa. Now it's time to go to Mexico. So this is when the process known as canje starts. So after you get your visa permit at a consulate within the US, you have 180 days to make yourself come down here to Mexico to finalize the canje process. And basically what canje is like an exchange of status from your unofficial residency to official residence.
Like him.
Just like me, exactly. So again, you have 180 days to come here to Mexico to finalize the process. If you don't do that, then you risk terminating your residency application.
Yeah, and also when you enter the country for the first time, you have to tell them that you're here for canje. Even if you don't speak Spanish, just say the word canje and they'll send you, they'll know what to do, because it is a different process, right? You get like a stamp.
Your stamp will say canje, and similar to my previous point, if you don't get stamped in as canje, that can also terminate your residency application, so be very careful with that.
It's important.
And then once you are here in Mexico, there's kind of two routes to finalize canje. The easy one is to go with an immigration facilitator based here in Mexico. We did that. We paid, I think, $220. I think the range is $200 to $250. And they're able to kind of do all the documents exactly as it needs to be, because for this stage with Mexican immigration, everything is in Spanish. And if some little detail is wrong, this is kind of when the bureaucratic process can start happening, and they can kick you out of the office, for example, to reapply and correct things.
Just send you back, not kick you out.
Send you back, okay.
We loved our facilitator. Like, she was amazing to work with. If you want her information, just email us. Our emails are in the description and we'll give you her details. It just, a little bit expensive, but it just made the process like so much easier. Even though I am a native like Spanish speaker, like we just didn't want to deal with it, and it was, I think, the right choice. Like, I don't regret it. Yeah,
exactly. So the alternative to a facilitator is doing it all by yourself, obviously, and then you have to fill out the paperwork, make the appointment, etc., and that's when the errors can kind of come into play, and you can waste a lot of time. That's just like a headache. So we recommend the facilitator for sure. So if you do get a facilitator, this part of the process, the canje at the INM, or the Mexican immigration, it's really not scary at all. You just kind of have your appointments, you go in, there's some additional information that they kind of take down from you, and they put it all into the computer. You pay an additional fee, and that's it. You completed canje, you'll get your visa card, and now it is officially time to celebrate with a margarita. You are a Mexican resident. Congratulations. So in summary, nothing about getting your residency is inherently difficult. So in the US, if you have all your financial documents in place, if you know that you're eligible, there is a decent chance that you will get approved for Mexican residency in the States. And then when you come down here to Mexico for the canje process, especially if you get a facilitator, it is really not much of a headache at all. And you will leave with your trusty visa. So in terms of the facilitator, the best way to look for them, I go to Google Maps and I just type in Immigration Services Merida, or go to Merida first and then type in Immigration Services, and you'll get kind of like a list of all the different businesses here and their rating. I reached out to about 3 of them here in Merida that were all highly rated. Then one was more proactive than the rest, and I went with them, and it was awesome. Great experience.
So you can do the same for like any city in Mexico that you're moving into, and you can just repeat the process and just trust the reviews, and it's super easy. We hope this video was useful for those of you getting ready to apply for Mexican residency in 2025. Don't forget that you can make this process a lot easier and less stressful by downloading the cheat sheet that is going to be linked in the description and in the first pinned comment. And please, if you have questions, just send them our way. You can email us, you can leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, because we're sharing videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays, everything related to life in Mexico and how to make the process of moving to Mexico a lot smoother. And if you want to watch another video, I'm going to leave it right here. It's about what to expect in the interview process in the US, so you can watch that video next. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Gracias.
Ciao.